Are your V-Carve inlays still giving you gaps, chip out, or those ugly glue lines that make you want to walk away from the CNC altogether? You're not alone. V-Carve inlays are not as easy as some people would leave you to believe. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 simple fixes that instantly level up your inlays. Cleaner fits, sharper details, and results you can actually be proud of. Let's turn frustration into confidence. Here are 5 sharp, practical tips to genuinely move the needle on V-Carve inlay quality, especially for the kind of precision work you want to do. Tip number 1, dial in your pocket and plug relationship. The single biggest factor in a clean, tight inlays is the depth pairing between the pocket and the plug. If you don't have correct parameters for your pocket and plug, you can wind up with inlays that have large gaps around them or large gaps underneath, resulting in a hollow inlay. It's important that you do the necessary testing for each bit you intend to use for your inlays prior to committing to a large project. I've linked videos to the methods that I use in the description of this video, and at the end of the video I'll link a playlist to all the other supplementary information you need as well. I always set my pocket depths to 6 millimeters or 0.236 inches. My plug will vary depending on the angle of the bit and type of bit. For a tapered ball nose bit with an angle of 12.4 degrees, I use a start depth of 4 millimeters or 0.157 inches and a flat depth of 3.5 millimeters or 0.137 inches. For a tapered ball nose bit with an angle of 10.52 degrees, I use a start depth of 3.5 millimeters, 0.137 inches, and a flat depth of 3.5 millimeters. Regular V-Carve tool paths can have the bit set as either an engraving bit or a tapered ball nose bit. Remember though, you will need to test your start and flat depth settings for each bit type you intend to use. If you are using the V-Carve inlay toolpath in Vectric 12 Pro or Aspire, I use a pocket depth of 6 millimeters or 0.236 inches. And for a tapered ball nose bit with an angle of 12.4 degrees, I use a glue gap of 4 millimeters or 0.157 inches and a surface gap of 5.5 millimeters or 0.217 inches. For a tapered ball nose bit with an angle of 10.52 degrees, I use a glue gap of 1.65 millimeters or 0.065 inches and a surface gap of 2.65 millimeters or 0.104 inches. Remember, with the V-Carve inlay toolpath, your tapered ball nose bit must be configured as a V-bit in the tool database. If you're still with me so far, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hype this video to bring more exposure to my channel. Every little bit is certainly appreciated. Moving on to tip number 2, use the right bit for the job. Traditional V-bits work, but tapered ball nose bits often give cleaner results. They reduce chip out, handle finer detail, and better produce smoother walls. Just remember, the steeper the taper, the more you have to adjust your plug depth to compensate for the geometry. I've linked a video in the description that shows how bit configuration affects geometry of the bit when running toolpaths. This is the SpeedTool W01005 5.26 degree tapered ball nose bit. It has a side angle of 5.26 degrees and a tip radius of 0.25 millimeters. I use this for very fine details, although the bit choice is really a matter of preference. I run this bit in a single pass depth of 7.5 millimeters at 40 inches per minute. This is the Amana tool number 46473, which is a 6.2 degree bit with a tip radius also of 0.25 millimeters. This bit is a little more sturdy and can easily take the single pass depths of around 7.5 millimeters or 0.295 inches at 40 inches per minute. I configure both of these bits as V-bits when I use the V-Carve inlay toolpath and as an engraving bit otherwise. Links to both of these bits are found in the video description. One additional piece of advice I'll give you is to make sure that the bit is sharp. Dull bits can make your pocket or plug dimensions imprecise. Tip number 3, position your workpiece correctly and surface both sides of your material. When creating V-Carve inlays, and especially nested V-Carve inlays, it's important to make sure that you always position the workpiece in the same exact position. Whether you zero your workpiece in the center or in the lower left or right, you want to ensure that your XY coordinates do not have to change between pocketing toolpath operations. Sometimes you have to layer your pocket cuts due to tight fits between pockets or layering in the pockets themselves. Cut your workpieces to be as square in the corners as possible. You can use a profile toolpath to shape your board if you like, but starting square is a must. I also recommend cutting your plugs first and then your pockets in your board. This way you can easily reposition the board after gluing each plug and clearing excess material. It's also important before you begin to surface both sides of your workpiece so that they're level to the CNC machine. A flat workpiece ensures consistency and depth of the pockets, and that you don't cut below the surface of the inlay when you clear excess materials from the top. Tip number 4, leave a small excess of the plug material for a cleaner sand down. Thank you for following along this far. If you're enjoying the video, why not leave a like and hype the channel? This helps to bring more eyeballs to my channel. When you clear the material from a plug after gluing, leave around 1 to 2 millimeters of material above the surface of the workpiece. This gives you enough material to sand flush without risking low spots or sanding into the pocket edges. When you zero your Z-axis, zero it approximately 1 to 2 millimeters above the surface of the workpiece to ensure that you're not going to cut below the surface of the inlay and possibly chip out the edges of the inlaid plug. Tip number 5, clamp smart, not hard. Too much pressure can distort the plug or squeeze out too much glue, causing gaps. Aim for even, moderate pressure across the entire inlay area. I use a modified shop press to ensure my inlays are clamped evenly. If you don't have access to a shop press, you can use cauls and F-clamps to help distribute force and keep everything flat. I hope this video has been helpful for you on your journey for creating better V-Carve inlays. As promised, here's the playlist of techniques that I use to make inlays. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hype the channel so I can continue to reach fellow CNCers that want to explore V-Carve inlays. Thanks for watching.